I met this brother 6 years ago, and we were touring, and we were just talking about, elevating poetry, and it's crazy. 6 years later, you know what I'm saying, we featured at Fly Poet with Faith Evans and Johnny Gill. We shared the stage together. So it's been an amazing journey, and it's been awesome to see him grow and become the man that he is to his children and who he is as a poet and a writer. He's been on Arsenio Hall, been on Verses and Flow. Y'all start clapping right now. Stand up and start clapping. It was this brother's birthday yesterday, so he's celebrating his birthday, working, coming to perform for you all, coming all the way from Oakland. Y'all start clapping for my homie, Prentice Powell.
I don't know much, but I do know what love is. Thank you. I know emptiness. I know what it feels like to be trapped, and I know what it means to be free. I know some of the world's most beautiful songs are ones that have never been sung. I know what it's like to stand on the edge of a cliff with fully functional wings, but clip confident, scared that the impact of crashing into that glass ceiling will somehow hurt more than falling to the floor. Lord knows I need to jump. I know that we as men will blatantly lie to a woman's face just to protect your feelings. I know that men aren't the only ones who could be scandalous. I know that God believes in far more than second chances. See, I've been to church with the devil sitting on my shoulder, and I swear to God, sorry God, I swear it was so hard to stand up when they prayed. What I'm trying to say is I know pressure. I know the weight of the world rests on my tongue. Yo, maybe that's why I'm so misunderstood. I know I've learned from some of my mistakes, and I know I have plenty more to make. I don't know much, but I do know that I've lived long enough to know that I don't know anything. I know they don't like my skin. I know it's like to experience hate, only to praise, forgive, and experience again the very next day. I know you better keep your hands on that steering wheel until he asks for your ID. And if he lets you go, I know you better drop down to your knees and thank God that you make it to see that next block. But I'm not dumb. I know I can still get shot by a cop around the corner. I know my skin isn't popular, but my culture is. I know I fear the day I have to explain racism to my kids after they've experienced it. I know cops who patrol black neighborhoods should receive a welcome packet that consists of a spittle of CDs, an Arizona iced tea, a pack of Skittles, and a jar of Black Boy Innocence. And I know with this gift God gave me, people will constantly judge me for my views, so I'm trying to get right with God, but I'm conflicted. I keep smoking weed while trying to read scripture or listen to TD Jakes on YouTube, and I know some of you Christians are going to judge me for that line too. I just hope you forgive me for my honesty, the same way you ask God to forgive you for your lies. I know that somewhere in America there's a mother reading a raisin in the sun, trying to distract her from the struggle she's facing, trying to raise a son who can't seem to raise his grades but knows how to raise a gun. I know she prays in between pages that he stays safe while she works late. And I know before she goes to work, she'll go in the kitchen, cook him up a plate, leave it on the stove, even though she knows she should be getting some sleep that's long overdue and much needed. And I know when he gets home, he won't eat. He's too full of sin to have a taste of heaven right now, so he'll leave it right there on the stove because he knows when she gets home, she's going to be hungry, and off that gesture alone, she will know there is still hope for him. I know it's hard raising a young black boy in an old white world. I know I don't want to die. I know that God is the reason why I'm still alive. I don't know much, but I do know that I've lived long enough to know that I don't know anything. I know that we're living in a system that's designed for us to fail. A system that will tell you, no matter how great you think you are, how fantastic you think you are, they will tell you there is no you. There is only who I want you to be. From your latest cell phones to the style seen in your most recent videos to my implementation of what you call swag. If you can't brag about how many women you have or the $200 denim on your ass, you are worthless. Your purse is not hot if it is a fall edition and we are in the winter. And as long as your kids have Jordans on their feet, it is okay if they have to eat top ramen for a week for dinner. Your check is in the mail. You fail at becoming grown men, so you don't bother with your younger ones. Give them to me. I'll program them to Viacom. Have them growing up with a single mom and no males to emulate, and wonder why so many begin to have extensive rap sheets and ADD with no off switch, and download a defense that is nothing but false self-confidence shown through them being overly aggressive. Your misguided women want nothing but diamonds and Fendi, or dreams of finding a professional athlete to pay for their lives, because to them being a wife is not a lifestyle, it is trendy. Trendy to have like a little black doll carried around in a bag. The deconstruction of your black woman and man are going according to plan. Flip the coin, and for those who have chose not to go down that road, make sure that any statement they make that may challenge their masculinity are followed by statements of insecurity. No homo, we can't have them thinking for themselves. Program dreams to be a mirage. Close enough to see, yet too far to reach. Set their aesthetics to pathetic, aka camouflage. Allow them to blend in, keyword trend. Downtown corners full of rappers who refuse to give up even though their shit sucks, but will allow them to say their piece. At the very least, it'll make them a quick buck. Initiate operation exploitation, throw them a bit more cash. I am the system, programmed to initiate commands. You niggas, you people are programmed not to ask. Empty vessels who have sold their souls a long time ago, and you call me robotic. I am the system. Systematically set to just do. You are systematically set to just do and not think, and you call me robotic. Error, redundancy, error, repeat, error, redundancy, error, repeat. Pardon me. I was scanning your culture's current popular music. You want a cop to pay for killing one of you, but carry a no snitching policy in your own community, which allows you niggas, you people to have absolutely no accountability. Irony overload, reset. I am this system, systematically set to desensitize your senses, senseless activity surrounds your society, simultaneously making me love you while shaking in your boots. And for those who dare me to overthrow me, allow me to remind thee, it is I who provides you with the land and seeds you use to grow your little grassroots. I am the system. How many people love their mama? I mean, like, really love your mama. Like, your mama is your mama. So, I went to a high school where it was like over 4,000 students, and every day was like a fashion show at my high school. And I remember one time I thought I was fresh, and I came to school, and they clowned me so bad that I had to go home and change my clothes and come back. And I remember when I got home, my mom was like, "Why are you here?" And I told her, and she's like, "Oh, shit, boy, they're just playing the dozens." And I was like, "What's the dozens?" And so she educated me. The dozens is basically capping on people, clowning on people, where they used to make fun and tease. And one of the crazy things was I always tried to stay out the circle because I'm not like a real witty, like a quick person. I'm one of them people where I got to think and process some shit and like come back to it later. You know, like something happens to you, and then you think like 2 days later, like some shit you could have said. So I'm one of them people, so I was thinking about, you know, all the times I got clowned on in high school, and I couldn't think of any responses at the time, but like a year ago I thought some responses, so I wrote this poem. But some of the jokes I used to tell that I really hated, it was a "your mama" jokes. I'm gonna fight you if you say something about my mama. And I never felt right about the black jokes. Like it just always, something about that just felt wrong just off the rip to me. And I remember they used to be like, "Your mama so black, she drink water and pee coffee." It's not. They used to be like, yo mama so black, lightning bugs follow her around in the daytime. They say, yo mama so black, she went to night school and got marked absent. And I thought about it. Does it? Okay, okay, all right, she fine. My mama's gorgeous. And I thought about it, your mama's so conditioned, she refused to have sex with a dark-skinned man because she thought having a baby by a light-skinned one would give you a better chance. Your mama's so dumb, she thought a light-skinned one would treat her better. Your mama's so poor, her face is on front of the food stamps. Your mama's so poor, she bounces food stamps. Your mama's so poor, she keeps on putting half of what she makes on a lawyer to defend a crime you won't admit that you committed. Sorry, that one wasn't funny. Your mama's so poor, burglars break into the house and leave her money. Your mama's so poor, she's having a hard time trying to afford to feed these grandkids her daughter created, but doesn't really raise. Your mama's so black, she looked like a picture out of space without the stars. Your mama's so black, the last black man she had beat her until she saw stars. Your mama's so black, she's 65, got 3 jobs, and retirement is nowhere in sight. Your mama's so black, she refuses to give up. Your mama's so black, she worked as hard as her ancestors who picked cotton and tended to the white man's yard. As a matter of fact, your mama's so black, her second job is tending to a white man's yard despite his attempts to tend to her secret garden. Your mama's so black, she sacrificed everything just so her kids can have a roof over their heads. Your mama's so black, one of her kids are dead. 2 in prison and she can't look out of her bedroom window without seeing bars. Your mama is so black, she lived in a violent neighborhood all of her life. Thank you, gentrification. You know, there were times when your mama was so poor, she sacrificed all the food on her plate and fed herself off of her own frustration. Your mama is so black girl magic, she can pull a rabbit out of a broken top hat, send you to school full with her pockets on empty, but your mama's stressed and her hair falling out. And when she show up to your school, they be like, your mama's so bald. When she put on the turtleneck, she look like a busted condom, but they don't know your mama got cancer. They don't know your mama's so protective. She never told you that your father said he wished he would have flushed you down with that condom. Your mama's so tough because she's had more stones thrown at her than opportunities. And with her hands tied behind her back like that time she was raped, she grew up having to catch the stones with her face, so now your mama ugly. Your mama so ugly they film gorillas in the mist in her shower. No, your mama so tired she only has time to cry in the shower. Your mama is so ugly she wouldn't know beauty. She finally took the time to look herself in the mirror, which she only does while getting ready for another 18-hour workday. But your mama's getting old now. Your mama's so old her birth certificate say Dr. Jesus. No, your mama's so old she started to forget the things that she says. Your mama's so old she's starting to begin her sentences with, in case I don't make it. You know, your mama was thinking about quitting that 3rd job because her body just really can't seem to take it. Your mama is so old her Parkinson-riddled hands can't seem to hold on to an answer. Your mama has been a fighter all her life but still can't seem to beat this thing they call cancer. Your mama is so old it's starting to hurt her throat to laugh at these jokes that don't really feel like jokes. I guess she had to swallow her pride one too many times because now your mama's having a problem opening her eyes. Wake up, mama. Your mama has an obituary now. Your mama was so black. My mama is so black. No, so rainbow, so red, so orange, so yellow, so purple, so green. It is no surprise that the sun still shines in her eyes even when it rains, and standing at her feet, I have always been her pot of gold. You know, your mama would be ashamed of you. She knew you was talking about somebody else's mama without having a single clue of what they've been through, but maybe I'm just being sensitive. After all, some of them jokes is funny, right? Thank you. Tomorrow, I could be your friend. Tomorrow, we could be cool. Hell, tomorrow, I even go on vacation with you. Tomorrow, but tonight, I want to be your porn star. And you don't owe me anything, just pay me back with scratches on my back, and I rock that shit like a war veteran with a Purple Heart. Let's have something like a menage a trois with me, you, and that camera sitting on top of the tripod. And truth be told, I say fuck Hollywood. We don't need to go anywhere beyond these walls to become our own favorite movie stars. And I know it's late and you got to go to work in the morning, so do me a favor. Call in sick. Or fuck it, quit your job. Let's start our own company with a series of sex tapes that makes Ray J's and Kim Kardashian look like Sex 101 for dummies. And I know coming from me, this shit may sound funny, but I am so sincere. We can hit the glass elevators at the St. Francis Hotel in San Francisco and do it right there with one of the dopest views of the city you have ever seen. And since we are both fans of hip hop, we can call it the Booth. See, who can make who come the most times, and I'm sure it'll take a couple of tries, but I'm positive we can come out saying we spit a hot 16. I don't think you understand me. I want to be your porn star. And I don't care if people stare. But if it's too much for you, we can go back to the bed. I just need you to sit back, relax, and spread your legs. And please don't worry about me or my sheets. The good thing about me is I come with a built-in bib, which is the whole reason I'm growing out these chin hairs. And if you go to sleep, I want you to go to sleep with no covers, no nothing. I just want you to pass out right there, but before you do, allow me to get you a damp cloth, a dry one, and a baby wipe. I know about that shit. I got you. I'm prepared. Now, you have dreams of having sex with another man. I want those to be considered nightmares. I want the fact that you hated that dream to be a parent. I want to do things so damn nasty with you, I feel uncomfortable being around your parents thinking if they only knew what I was doing with their daughter, I want to be a porn star. Call me Carl Thomas. So emotional. When you're here, I'm happy. When you're gone, I'm singing, and I wish I never met her at all. Flip the script on me, shit. Have me rolling over in bed after sex talking about, so, what are we? I mean, are we together? Or, flip the script on me. Please don't fight it. Smack my ass, pull my hair, ask me if I like your shit. Make me say your name. And like I said, I would love to take you on vacation, but I don't have a lot of patience, so I may try to get it popping on the plane, and I promise you, I am not one for drama, and I'm definitely not messy. I don't talk about my business, and I'm not sloppy, so when we're done with this menage a trois between me, you, and that camera sitting on the top of the tripod, fuck it, baby. You can keep the copy. I just want to be a porn star. How many? One? Okay. So I am, I got divorced. You hear her? She said, good. Just, what the fuck is it with, just good? Like, it's fucked up. We have the black love and all that. So, like I was saying, you really said good. I got divorced, and it was very toxic and unhealthy, but because of my dedication, commitment, and wanting so bad to represent the black family, I found myself portraying an image that wasn't accurate. And the more that I portrayed that image, the more that I did it, the more the years went by, the more work that got put in that wasn't going anywhere, the more of myself I lost in the process. Since I got divorced, it's probably been the most beautiful stage of my life, and I don't say that against who I was married to. I say that because sometimes the most terrifying thing you can do is probably the one thing God needs you to do in order to take you where you gotta go next. I use that as an example to encourage everybody. Those things that you are afraid of doing, sometimes they're the things you absolutely need to be doing in order to get to the next step. And it's okay to be afraid, it's okay to be scared, it's okay to be vulnerable, but at some point in time in life, you gotta take a bet on yourself. So I just wanna remind everybody that, like, always bet on yourself first. If there's one thing I've learned in this process, in this stage of where I'm at now, is that there are very few things worse than a man who has a good woman who doesn't know how to treat her well. And I say that from some of my experiences and observing as well. But there's also something, there's a couple of things that aren't, what's also dangerous is a man who's experienced relationships, has grown, has matured, has taken the time to learn the lessons, his faults, his flaws, and knows how to apply them in his next relationship. I say that to say to the men, if you have a good woman, keep her close, take care of her, because she can get snatched by a man who's way better than you. That's something people don't usually like to hear, but fuck it. So I decided to write a letter. I know now what I want in life. I know now what I look for. I have standards. I feel like I'm elevating my mentality. I don't believe in being community dick. I think that shit is weak. I think it's lame. I think if we're gonna start carrying ourselves and labeling ourselves as kings, as black men, we don't get breaks and we don't get time off. So we gotta commit to that label. That means that you gotta uphold your standards and actually start setting some standards. And also remember on your first date, fellas, you're not the only one who should be on an interview on a first date. You gotta have standards. Don't settle. I say all that to say that I thought about writing a letter to my future wife's exes. And here it goes. So let me start off by saying that I don't know any of you. And I do hope you find the happiness that you deserve. But I'd be lying if I didn't say I wasn't happy that the happiness you deserve wasn't found in the happiness that is her, because if it was, I wouldn't happen to have heard that you have been asking about it. But since I heard that you've been asking about it, I figured I'd let your ass know. She's doing great. Yeah, man, she still loves to read. She still shows up late to everything, but I'm sure to you that comes as no surprise. She still has that sparkle in her eyes that makes it hard for you to look at her for too long without becoming religious and thanking God for being in this position. She's still very much in the shoes, and that smile, bruh, I swear to God, that smile is just as radiant as it used to be, and it probably does the same thing to me as it did to you. And I know you're asking yourself right now, like, is this nigga serious? Did he really write a poem about this? I moved on, I'm happy, none of this matters, but like I said, I heard you've been asking about it. So I started to question your happiness, because honestly, I questioned mine if I didn't have it. Because I know if she chose to move on and love chose to let go, that I'd make at least one more attempt to grab her. I'd say whatever I had to say for one more night of having her. And after I realized I could no longer have it, I'd probably go from talking shit to just wanting to talk, even though I know I'd make no sense. Yo, I get it. A broken heart can have you speaking in pieces. Emotions can have you saying a lot of different things, knowing you don't mean it, especially when you know she's done. And you completely shed that perfect image and start speaking to an angel with such a forked tongue. She must be your biggest regret. I know for me, I tend to breathe differently when she leaves, and with me, she comes back. So for you, I imagine life to feel a lot like an asthma attack, and I'm not one to hate, so I pray for your respiratory system every day. I mean, other than our height, our personality traits, what we've been through, what we look like, we really no different, right? All undeserving, probably all have questioned if we were even worthy and felt guilty for bringing so much of our dirty laundry into a life of a woman who likes to keep things so clean. And I know this sounds like an insecurity thing, but it's not. When she tells me she loves me, I don't doubt her. It's more like a comparison thing, because honestly, I don't know who's stronger. Me for having the strength to hold on to her for the rest of my life, or you having to survive the rest of yours without her. She's rare. Like an unfinished novel, yet somehow ready, a classic, the best book I have ever spoken to, and you are blessed to have been a chapter in her story, and I could only hope to grace the blank pages that have yet to be written. See, I used to think that my biggest fear was like dying before the age of 25 or not reaching my full potential, but when it hits you, and you realize that your biggest fear is to become just another failed student, all because you skimmed through her pages, didn't retain the information, didn't respect the content, and definitely didn't handle the book with care. Sometimes you find yourself talking about it to the most unexpected people, all because I don't want to become you. Just another reader, borrowing her time, only to put her back on the shelf and risk the chance of somebody else realizing there is no other book in this library of life more valuable. You put her back. And when that book falls into your lap, you gotta know what to do with it, but I don't blame you, bruh. If I was you, I'd be walking up and down these aisles looking for one just like her too. But please remember, God does not make duplicates. You put her back. And for that, I thank you. I thank you. I thank God. I thank every single one of her exes for your illiteracy. My name is Prentice Powell. Thank y'all for listening.
One more time for Prentice Powell. Isn't he amazing?